At the outset of this video, I know that there are wide and varying and very passionate opinions about immigration, deportation, and ICE raids. And I know there's nuance in between, but basically you got the conservatives saying, hey, the illegals are stealing American jobs, they're trashing our cities, and they need to be deported. And liberals pretending all of a sudden to care about individual rights, unalienable rights in the Constitution, basically say that they object to ICE and their actions against undocumented migrants. My personal issue is we've got another standing army inflicting tyranny on the rest of us. What makes this different is that these people are unaccountable, they're masked, they're anonymous, and they're still agents of the state inflicting tyranny on the rest of us and threatening our liberties. And for the most part, they've been supported by local and state police departments until now. Check out this article. ICE efforts to poach local officers anger some law enforcement leaders. It says an email to officers whose agencies partner with ICE has even some sheriffs who support the Trump administration and its immigration crackdown seeing red. And one of those is Sheriff Grady Judd from Florida. Check this out. The hypocrisy is off the charts. The way ICE is treating state and local law enforcement officials is the exact same way that local and state law enforcement officials treat us when they take our rights and liberties away. Immigration and Custom Enforcement is newly flush with billions from the One Big Beautiful Bill to the tune of $170 billion. It's one of the largest allocations, one of $75 billion going to ICE. It's one of the largest allocations that goes to any agency anywhere in the U.S. government. So this is big bean spending. And under pressure to rapidly hire 10,000 new agents. But one tactic it recently tried to do that hiring, aggressively recruiting new agents from some of its most trusted local law enforcement partners, may have alienated some of the leaders it needs to help execute what the Trump administration wants to be the largest mass deportation in U.S. history. Here's what tyrannical Florida Sheriff Grady Judd has to say. We're their force multipliers, and this is the thanks we get for helping them do their job. Judd said he's not happy about the recruitment email ICE's deputy director sent to hundreds of his deputies, and he blamed Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, who oversees ICE. Kristi Noem needs to get on her big girl pants and do what's right. She needs to make sure there's an apology. Kristi Noem needs to apologize to us. What's interesting and hilarious about this is that aside from the fact that federal and state law enforcement agencies operate on the basis of theft, coercion, and violence, and not free market supply, demand, and voluntary interactions, DHS is actually employing a free market principle here of make an offer and let the local and state officers freely decide for themselves if they want to sign up or not. DHS isn't doing anything wrong here. If cops want to sign up, they can, and if they don't, they're not forced to. But these authoritarian department heads are acting like DHS is committing some capital offense or something. Meanwhile, Grady Judd and his gang daily intrude on and commit real crimes against Americans, while he's crying about no crime at all. But Judd made it clear he wants to support President Trump's mission. Well, part of that mission is to recruit deputies and police officers from local sheriffs and police departments to become ICE agents, and they're dangling a pretty lucrative carrot to get those tattooed tyrannical road pirates to bite. NBC News spoke to local law enforcement leaders in 4 states whose agencies participate in ICE's 287G program, under which local officers are deputized to help in immigration enforcement and whose deputies ICE targeted for recruitment. Now, what does that recruitment email say? As someone who is currently supporting ICE through the 287G program, you understand the unique responsibility we carry in protecting our communities and upholding federal law. And you know the federal agencies know that the state and local agencies aren't protecting and serving local communities, they're harassing and collecting from them. Your experience in state or local law enforcement brings invaluable insight and skills to this mission, qualities we need now more than ever. And let me just show you the website that the email directs these police officers and deputies to. This is the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement landing page that says, America needs you. America has been invaded by criminals and predators. And I agree, most of whom are uniformed, badged clowns running around acting like tyrants and abusing the rest of us. We need you to get them out. You do not need an undergraduate degree. You may be entitled to up to these benefits. A whopping $50,000 signing bonus, $60,000 in student loan repayment on top of that $50,000, and a potential 25% premium pay. And you can even choose your mission. You can be a deportation officer, for the enforcers, for the brave, for those who fight to keep America safe. You can be a criminal investigator, for the protectors, for the analytical, for those who seek the truth. Or you can be a general attorney, for the closers, for the resolute, for those who represent the USA. This is all very disgusting. Think of one officer you know who would not bite on a $50,000 dangling carrot. The Pinellas County, Florida Sheriff says, ICE actively trying to use our partnership to recruit our personnel is wrong, and we have expressed our concern to ICE leadership. It's almost like the way my local law enforcement agency treats me and the rest of my community is wrong. And we've expressed our concerns to police leadership, and they investigated themselves and they found that they did no wrong. So now local law enforcement agencies are getting a dose of their own medication that they constantly give us. This time it's coming from the federal authorities. Jonathan Thompson, the executive director and CEO of the National Sheriff's Association. Remember, this is the same National Sheriff's Association that, under Sheriff Jim Skinner, crafted the letter to beg Dan Red Flag gun confiscation law Crenshaw not to take away their civil asset forfeiture, which is otherwise known as legalized armed robbery, and asked old Dan to strike down H.R. 1525, which would pull that civil asset forfeiture carpet out from under all of the sheriffs. And how many sheriffs signed on to that letter? 3,086. That's virtually every single sheriff in the country who doesn't care about your unalienable rights, doesn't care about your right to be secure in your person's houses, papers, and effects. They want to steal your stuff if they catch you like they did Steve and Lara driving through their state so they could steal your $87,000 in life savings as you're trying to go provide for your daughters in California. So this National Sheriff's Association says it was bad judgment that will cause an erosion of a relationship that has been improving of late. And it's going to take some getting over, and it's going to take leadership at DHS to really take stock because, hey, they need state and locals. Thompson said the association has heard from more than a dozen law enforcement agencies about the recruitment emails. He also said that the group has not heard from DHS since the emails were flagged to the association, and that he intends to send a very stern note to ICE. So it's like us sending letters to local and state authorities saying, hey, your guy abused this dude, slammed his head on the ground, shot that guy in the hallway of a La Quinta Inn, destroyed that guy for saving all of those police officers in Arvada, Colorado, and then them not getting back to you. Thompson said, this is inappropriate behavior of a partner organization. We're all on the same boat, and you just don't treat friends or partners like this. Yeah, you don't treat community members like this, you bonehead. But I want to show you the coup de grace in all this. You know how when you record police, you're kind of a little nervous that there might be some retaliation, that when you get in your car, they might run your plate, find out where you live, and then maybe pay you a visit? Well, check this out. One Florida police chief who did not want to be named out of concern that his department could face retaliation said departments that have partnered with the federal government now fear they could lose their best officers. Imagine that, a police department fearing retaliation when for decades the rest of us have been thinking about the retaliation element as it pertains to just exercising your right to film in a public place and on a public sidewalk. And now you got a lead officer, a police chief, fearing retaliation from the federal government. The irony couldn't be more sweet or poetic. The chief said, "Now you know why everybody's so pissed. This is like the transfer portal in college sports. We see people leave us because they believe they can make more money at other locations. Law enforcement has always been a calling. Now it's a job." I never thought it was a calling or a job. I always thought it was an outlet for psychopaths to grab the ring of power and abuse the rest of us. The DHS media office did not respond to questions about local law enforcement concerns, but provided NBC News with a statement that it attributed to a senior DHS official. Quote, "ICE is recruiting law enforcement veterans and other patriots who want to serve their country. This includes local law enforcement veterans and our 287G partners who have already been trained and have valuable law enforcement experience. Additionally, more than $500 million from President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill will go to increasing our 287G partnership with state and local law enforcement." So basically, the Department of Homeland Security officials said, hell yeah, we're dangling a $50,000 carrot in front of law enforcement agents, and we got tons of money in the kitty to do it. What are you going to do about it? And check this out. The sheriff's office in Forsyth County, Georgia, told NBC News that the Atlanta ICE office sent an apology for the recruitment email. But the website is still up, and the money's still dangling at the end of the string. And local law enforcement agents are still pissed and feeling like they're being betrayed by the federal government. And getting back to the topic of unaccountable, masked, anonymous, armed agents of the state who threaten our freedoms, check this out.
So I talked to a Fort Worth police officer last night on 7th Street about my question of what do we do if we see masked unidentified gunmen taking somebody off the street in our neighborhood. And I told him the neighborhood I lived in, and his response was, well, they don't coordinate with us. I don't know who they are, and I don't know what the right answer is for what you're supposed to do if you see this. And he added that he fully believed that cartels were taking advantage of this situation because anybody right now can grab an ice patch off Amazon, put it on a vest, grab a mask, and go kidnap somebody. And we as citizens have no way to know whether they're law enforcement or cartel members.
And basically, anybody who's got two brain cells to rub together saw this coming. We know that local law enforcement agencies act like cartels anyway.
And I would go on to suggest that just your random predators and thugs are taking advantage of this as well. And there is zero line between law enforcement and actual criminals right now. There's zero line. The police officers aren't following the law in the United States Constitution, and the criminals are still criminals. And if you see something in your neighborhood, you have no clue whether it's, a random sexual predator, a cartel member, or a deputized person from ICE who's not an ICE agent or an actual ICE agent.
And I think this is like the psychological operation that they planned. People actually become neutered because they think the person who's taking the masked, badged, vested, armed person who's taking that person off the street must be doing it to secure the nation. We can't question them, can we? I mean, who are we? We're just civilians. They're obviously law enforcement. I mean, look at the patch. Look at the masks. Look at the uniform. And now it effectively puts people in a mental state of suspended animation.
There's no line between criminals and law enforcement right now. And regardless of your feelings about anything else, I think that has to be corrected. Police officers should identify themselves with a badge, their name, and you should be able to see their face when they're carrying out normal arrest.
And this is kind of what that looks like, and people are standing up against it.
Compare an ICE raid in Encinitas is getting a lot of attention online. So that video that went viral shows what appears to be federal agents detaining people at a Home Depot. NBC7's Kelvin Henry spoke to the woman who shot this video.
You need to stop right there.
You need to stop kidnapping people off the street.
It's scary.
Look at this. This guy totally looks like a Walmart ICE agent. It looks like he got all of his stuff. It doesn't even look official. He's all masked up so you can't identify him. He's completely anonymous. There's no name tag on him. You don't even know if he's legit or not. And I'm not even saying if he was a real ICE agent that he would be legit, because I don't even see sheriffs and police officers as legit, because they're doing some pretty illegitimate things.
It is scary to see.
The woman who is recording the video doesn't want us to use her name out of concern for her safety. Explains the tense moments in the video that was shot on Tuesday at the Home Depot in Encinitas.
Stop! You guys are kidnapping people at the street!
As I was passing Home Depot, I saw what appeared to be two men tied up, with ICE agents.
She says at that point she got out of her car to step in to help.
I walked up to the agents and asked what they were doing, if they were just arresting workers. I was told that other people's criminal history is not my business. I just continued filming at this point.
She says at that point she realized there were more law enforcement officers.
Look at this chick right here. I mean, they will literally slap a uniform on anything and anybody that moves. Did she get a $50,000 sign-on bonus?
In cars nearby scanning the area. She says actions like these should concern everyone.
We have laws in our country, immigration laws included, that need to be complied with. And
look at this guy with his pants all sagging. It looks like he just completed a shift at Taco Bell.
Lawfully and ethically enforced.
What the?
But when masked, armed, unidentified gunmen are standing in the...
Hats off to this lady for standing up. This is true bravery right here. You're standing up against psychopaths with guns. You got some courage in you. She's got more courage in her, probably in her little finger, than all these guys put together. And how do you know that the people that they're arresting are actually illegal?
A parking lot of our local shopping centers. This is not how we lawfully and ethically enforce our laws.
The Trump administration is making immigration a central focus of its second term. Recently, administration officials said they want to make 3,000 immigration-related arrests per day. Right here in San Diego County, we have seen ICE activity. In May, ICE agents raided popular Italian restaurant Buona Forchetta in South Park, detaining 4 employees. She describes the response she is receiving as the viral video continues circulating.
I've received an outpouring of support from so many people. I have also received some very threatening messages, some very terrible messages, threats to my safety, my family's safety.
Despite that, she says she will continue speaking out.
I won't be silenced. I will continue to speak up. We all need to continue to speak up.
Have your cameras ready, because this stuff is going to happen more and more. Just remember law enforcement agencies. America needs to recruit your tyrants and road pirates. Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought police in the comment section below. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know. Don't forget to subscribe to my email list through my website, highimpactflix.com. If you want to support the channel further, the links are in the description. But always record the police. Always hold public servants accountable. I will see you in the next video.